Dating do's and don'ts in 1949. Now, I was never really taught anything. All the social cues that I picked up on and all that shit. Ah, damn. Well, I guess it's not gonna be clean. All that is just kind of figuring it out on my own, I guess.
Yes, Mom, I've got it. What's that?
High teen carnival? Admit one couple, Central High.
Oh, yes, the ticket he told me about. Well, let's see what he has to say. Here's the latest on my broken ankle. Doc says I'll be all right.
What happened? What's going on? YouTube. Come on, dude. What are we doing, man? Is it not hard enough I'm trying to do things clean?
Yes, Mom, I've got it.
Now you're gonna...
He told me about. Well, let's see what he has to say. Here's the latest on my broken ankle. Doc says I'll be all right, only I have to stay off my feet for a week or so. Anyway, here's the ticket for the High Teen Carnival. It's too late to turn it in, so you have yourself a time and tell me all about it. One couple. That means a date. Not like just...
It's the... Wow. It's so strange how much everything has changed.
Going around with the crowd. Just me and the girl. Well, that's all right. Only, what girl? Who?
How do you choose a date?
No, please
Whose
tell
company
me.
would you enjoy? Well, one thing you can consider is looks.
Really?
Woody thought of Janice and how good-looking she was. He'd really have to rate to date somebody like her.
She's alright.
Yes, he'd enjoy that. Except, well, it's too bad Janice always acts so superior and bored. She'd make a fellow feel awkward and inferior.
Ew. Janice, dude, what is your problem?
Well, perhaps someone who doesn't feel superior. There's Betty. And yet, it just doesn't seem as if she'd be much fun.
Let's just say what it is. You think the other girl looked better than her? Come on. Let's be honest. That's what this is really about. She's a little bit more conservative. You can see by the outfit. She got a lot more covered up. I mean, they were both covered, but you can clearly see the differences. Let's not dance around the issues here.
What about Anne? She knows how to have a good time and how to make the fellow with her relax, have fun too.
I bet she does.
Yes, that's what a boy likes. He wants to know he's appreciated. Anne would be fun on a date.
Dude, nobody eats cotton candy like that, do they? I've never seen somebody take it from the top. Usually pull pieces of it off of the side or from the top, not put your mouth on the top. That's a bit strange.
So Woody decided he'd ask Anne for this first date. But
Go
just
get her.
how should he ask her? And what if she refused? No, it won't
You know what's going there.
be easy asking for that first date.
Well, Woody, hi.
Hi, Ed.
What you doing?
Just thinking.
Don't work too hard.
Ed, is this private?
No, stick around if you like.
Oh, hello, Edward. I thought I heard you come in.
Hi, Mom. What's for supper?
Oh, Mom, is it all right with you if I have a date Saturday night?
Well, of course, you generally go out on Saturdays.
Hello. May I speak to Mary, please?
But, Mom, this is different. A date. Well, I haven't asked her yet, but I'd like to take Aunt Davis to the High Teen Carnival.
Oh, Anne's a nice girl, but a date? Well, you're rather young.
Oh, Mom, give him a break. I
Yeah,
think he can swing
Mom.
it. We all
They're dating. They're not getting married.
have to start sometime.
Well, if you don't overdo on dating, Ed knows what I mean. Weekends only and not too late.
Thanks,
Mary?
Mom.
I just called up to check on tonight. I think I can get by a little earlier than usual. How's 7:30? All right, Mary. Bye now.
Boy, you sure make it sound easy. How do you do it?
Practice, my boy. Experience.
First of all, he already laid all the groundwork down already. You don't just make that phone call out of nowhere to confirm something. There was work that was put into this. There were things that have happened previously to this phone call. You just got to witness the finishing touches, man.
But I don't think I'll know what to say, what to talk about.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does. Don't let these other people lie to you and say that they have it all figured out. They have no idea. Unless they use the same line on every broad that they come across. And same thing with women. Women do it too. If you use the same line on every dude that you come across, you have no idea what you're going to say in the moment. And if you're anything like me, the entire time all you're thinking about is whether or not you're going to say the wrong thing, which eventually will lead you into saying the wrong thing, and then you're panicking.
Now, don't worry about that. Just be your natural, talkative old self. Come on, let's see what's for supper.
Wait a second. Oh, Mom, is the floor dry yet?
Yes, you can come in.
Call her, dude. You were. Wait. You already have her number? If you already have her number, half the battle is already won, dude. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that at all. I don't know about you, but I'm a one phone call guy. In other words, if I call you and you don't pick up, I'm not calling you again until you call me back, unless it's urgent. Other than that, no way. I don't like to be the blow the phone up kind of a dude.
Hello, Mrs. Davis. This is Woody. Alan Woodruff. May I speak to Ann?
Go get him, Woody.
How do you ask for a date?
To infinity and beyond.
What about this?
Ann? Well, how about a date?
How about this? I got a ticket to a gimmick, and I think we would have a swell time if we went together. Yeah?
Well,
Well, really, no thanks, Woody.
Woo! She said, yuck. Woody, please. I got my eyes on Buzz Lightyear. You know what I mean?
Well, suppose he did it this way.
Hi, Ann. What you doing Saturday night?
Well, I guess I'm busy.
Oh, yeah? Any chance of giving him the brush off for me?
Why would you automatically assume it's a man? That's gonna put you in hot water, dude. You can't do that. Oh, no, dude, you don't do that at all. You're calling her a hoe. That's no good.
Well, of all the nerve.
See that?
Well, is there another way?
Yep.
Ann, this is Woody. Well, I have a ticket for the High Teen Carnival Saturday, and,
What'd I say?
well, would you like to go?
Why, yes, Woody. I'll have to talk to my folks about it, but I think I can go. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, shall I pick you up about 8 o'clock?
That's fine, Woody. 8 o'clock Saturday.
Hold on. You don't add in, I'll pick you up at 8 if she doesn't have permission to go yet, right? That's, you're jumping the gun, you're being a little pushy there. This is why we have contracts now.
I think it'll be all right, but I'll let you know for sure. Bye.
Okay, she addressed it.
A date with Woody. Saturday.
Norman Bates live in that house?
Come in. Hi, Ann. Hi, Judy. What are you doing?
Why aren't you the inquisitive little sister?
I'm getting ready
I'm getting ready to let old Yeller out.
for my date tonight with Woody. Oh, he's nice. A date, huh? What'll you do? Go to some fancy place for dinner?
No, silly. We're going to the High Teen Carnival.
And then he'll bring me home. Oh, that doesn't sound like much.
Oh, dude, you're getting burned. You're not even there to defend yourself. I forgot I had that drop. Burn. I love that drop.
Carnival, you and I, wouldn't we? Oh, yes. Well, Woody and I are going to have fun in just that way. I think the important thing about a date is to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to spend a lot of money to do that.
True.
You just enjoy whatever you're doing, whether it's movies or parties or anything.
And you leave your boyfriend enough money so he'll ask you again.
My, you'll be out late. Why not particularly late? Mom and Dad and I have an agreement about what time to come in. Look, will you be a honey and get my stockings from the bathroom? Sure.
Mom, do we have any cleaning fluid?
Slick.
Goodness, you know we have some.
You know what? Never mind.
Oh, here, let me.
No, I'll do it.
That's it, son. Look your best. Your first date is mighty important.
Yeah. Dad, were you excited the night of your first date?
I sure was.
So was I. I took my date seriously. A date was a major event. Why, the night of my first date, my date had a flat tire and he was an hour late. And he didn't even bother to call me. Well, when he finally came, I had to run upstairs and do my face and my hair all over again. Oh, I was so upset.
That fella had a lot to learn about girls. Your mother...
Hold on. How is it his fault that he had a flat tire? These things happen.
lost all interest in him after she met me.
And the moral of that story is that I should be on time tonight, right?
And buy some Fix-A-Flat.
You bet. And the same goes for Ann.
Any girl who can't be ready on time for a date isn't good enough for my boy.
Woo! The door test. If you've never seen The Bronx Tale, door test is the ultimate test, dude. If you open her door, I mean, people don't really do that anymore, but you open, well, no, that's not, I mean, I hold the door for gentlemen, we go inside, so I'm a gentleman like that, but I mean, as far as getting in the car is concerned, when you open up the passenger door, you let her in. If she doesn't reach over and unlock your side, no good.
Well, what are you doing? Oh, go find a mirror so you can see yourself.
Or a YouTube video. If you're in the future like
Hi,
that.
Woody. Oh, hi. Big night, eh? Yeah.
Flowers. Anne won't expect flowers, will she?
Huh? Oh, I hardly think so. I'm taking these to Mary because it's a special occasion. Of course, if you want to take flowers anyway, I guess there's no law against it.
But I don't have to, unless it's a ritzy affair.
That's the general idea. Flowers for a prom or a very special party. Otherwise, you don't need to. Say, I'll have to run.
Me too. See you later.
Hold on. You also have to make sure. See, flowers is a risky move, dude. Let me tell you why. Because you don't know if the person that you're going to see happens to be allergic. So you gotta be careful. The last thing you want to do is bring this person flowers and then their face swells up and all that nonsense. That's no good. You gotta try to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about dating, I should say.
Later.
I'm going, folks.
All right, Ed.
You know what? I didn't bring flowers. I brought some weed. That's what I did. Like, oh well, we'll share this. We'll share this. What did they call it? The wacky tobacco. We'll share some devil's lettuce. You know, do some shit. I'll bring you some flowers. All right, just not the regular kind of. Don't bring any dirt either, because this ain't. You're gonna get whacked if you do that.
Nice time.
Is that a drawn-on mustache? I'm heavily against it. Sideshow. Fortune told. Is that what it says? Groceries. Nobody eats a hot dog like that.
But when you're having so much fun, time goes all too fast. Well, it's the time Anne had set for getting home.
Do you
And
go
now,
for the
good
kiss?
night. The end of a perfect evening. But how do you say good night? Perhaps
Whoa, shit, don't do that, you creeper. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Usually you can feel it, you have to feel it out throughout the night. If it seems like it might be something that she could be into, you gotta be very careful. If you're gonna try to go in for a kiss and you're not sure if she's gonna be into it, I would think the best move would be to be able to mask it, like, so if she doesn't seem like she's gonna go for it, to just disguise it as like a hug. You know what I mean? Or at least, you know what? Hit her on the cheek, not with your fist. What are we, savages? Come on. You gotta give her one on her cheek like a gentleman, right? You don't wanna.
But Anne.
Yeah. Rookie move, dude. I've never went at a woman like that.
or it could go this way.
Well, so long.
What?
Just like that.
Dude, no. You gotta at least. I mean, a hug is respectful, no? And you could tell a lot from a hug. If the butt is pushed outwards, that means she's not really into you. And the pat on the back is the kiss of death. If you hug a woman and she pats you on your back when you're hugging her, that's the kiss of death, dude. Welcome to the friend zone.
After all, a girl likes to know you've had a good time.
See?
So let's try saying goodnight again. One more way.
Come on, man.
Well,
Give her that hug.
it's
Don't be
getting
creepy.
late.
Yes, it is. I'd ask you in for a bite to eat if it weren't so late. Let's plan to get home in time for a sandwich or something next time.
Say, that sounds good. I'll call you next week.
See? That's not fair, though, because she just made the initial move. If that doesn't happen in real time, see, they kept changing the dialogue with every move that this guy made with the wrong ones, and then on the right move, she just happens to throw it out there that she wants another date when that was never mentioned before. You're basically setting the precedent that if she had a good time, that she will automatically throw it out there that she wants to go out again. And that's not necessarily the case.
Well, let's plan to get home in time for a sandwich or something next time.
Say, that sounds good. I'll call you next week.
And I'll even make it myself. Hashtag feminism.
Well, thanks so much. I had loads of fun.
So did I.
Good night, Woody.
Night, Ann.
Well, alright. See, I think you could have went for the kiss there. Or at least tried to give her a hug. Now I think I kind of come off like a creeper. And I like how it went from basics on the first date, which didn't even include first base, by the way, to now we're all the way over to handling marriage conflicts. Now let's see everything that I do wrong, even though I'm not married. Look, I've been with the same broad for 15 years. Might as well be. Arguing. See, already? Rookie mistake. You're too close. You're inviting conflict, and if she wants to punch you in the face, she can get ultimate connection because you're standing that close to her. When you argue, it's preferably across the room from one another.
It couldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. But for the sake of illustrating some constructive and destructive ways of handling marital conflicts, let's suppose that there's an argument going on at the Adams house and that there's an identical argument going on at the same time over at the Canes.
Well, it looks like that's not an argument as much as it's about to be a proposition. Wait a minute. Pit stop.
Proposition.
Statement or an assertion that expresses a judgment or an opinion. That's not what I thought it was. Because it looked like wait, hold on. A suggested scheme or plan of action, especially in a business context. Does it count as a business context if I'm not clever enough to pull this off? An exchange is made? Fair exchange. Ain't no robbery.
Let's listen in on both couples for a moment. First, the Canes.
It's only money. Let's just throw it all away.
It's only a budget. It's not safe.
Oh, it's only money. Let's throw it all away, said nobody ever. Unless he's being sarcastic.
Not with you around.
wait, what?
It's only money. Let's just throw it all away.
It's only a budget. It's not sacred.
Not with you around.
Me? Who does all the scraping and scrounging to keep us on that precious budget? I suppose it was you who shopped in 4 different grocery stores to save.
And over at the Adams house.
You don't realize
size of it, but I shopped in 4 different grocery stores today just to save a penny here, a penny there, and a dime somewhere else.
See, now hold on. You're comparing two completely different arguments. This one is much more heated. The second argument is much more heated, which means that it must have been going on for a lot longer, so the two things cannot really be compared.
I don't know why you spend so much time on the food part of it. I mean, you figure whatever you say there is yours.
Oh, yes! I am very underhanded. Sure, I script on the groceries just so I can have some money of my own. $2 or $3 whole dollars a month. But you have a big fat allowance built right in the budget.
Oh, boy, let's...
The Adamses and the Canes are at it again. The gist of their argument so similar that in switching from one house to the other, not a thread is lost. Now, the best way to handle a disagreement is through calm discussion. But as you can see, neither the Adamses nor the Canes are using the best way right now.
Well, now, hold on. Because who are the second people?
In a moment, one of these pairs will begin to handle their conflict constructively, working...
Now, we already know hands are about to be flying in this household.
But in a moment, one of these pairs will begin to handle their conflict constructively, working toward a solution for their differences. The other couple will let the conflict handle them, so that hostility mounts and a solution is farther away than ever. See if you can tell which one of these couples is arguing constructively, which pair is arguing destructively.
My big fat allowance, as you call it, all goes for carfare to get me to work.
All right. That is what burns me up. I mean, there is no place for any leeway. We have ourselves strapped in a straitjacket.
Going overboard for a vacation won't help that.
I don't call it going overboard. Not now, under the circumstances. Look, just once, I want to have the best. You have the best when you buy a new suit.
Oh, boy, back to...
Hold on. She wants to go on a vacation, and she's arguing that, I shouldn't have to skimp out on a vacation because you have the best suits that are available. But is she going on a vacation on her own? I need more facts here.
To that, I bought one good suit in my life, and I've worn it for 3 years. That's extravagance. But a trip to Acapulco? Oh, now that makes sense. Now, look, my suit has nothing to do with this, so let's just forget it.
Okay. But you can't say that a real vacation doesn't make sense. Not when we have the money, and not when it's the only chance we're going to have for years.
Well, you know what? Hold on. They both make valid points. I may have bought that suit, but I've worn the same one for 3 years. Not like I'm going out and buying a new one every month. And in her side of the argument, I mean, come on, we have a little bit of extra dough. We have the time. What's wrong with being able to do something nice? It's not like we're going to do this all the time. I think they're both just going about it the wrong way.
Is that what's bothering you, the fact that we're going to be tied down?
Ah, she's
Look,
pregnant.
If that's what's eating you, let's talk about that, not about spending every cent in the savings account.
It's not eating me!
And neither are you. Which is why we're having this argument right now.
I'm tickled to death about the baby.
Bam.
But you can't deny that a baby's going to keep you at home. The responsibilities are going to pile up.
Exactly. Think of the house.
Oh, man, now I'm even more torn. On one hand, she is right. Once that baby comes, that's an anchor, dude. You're not going anywhere. On the other hand, taking a vacation right now with a baby on the way is kind of fiscally irresponsible. So, oh, dude. Dude, that's so rough. Can you make up a little bit of extra money? Can you come to a compromise? Maybe you don't go somewhere so expensive, but you still do something that will allow you to have that last little bit of freedom.
Hospital bills and furniture and stuff for the baby.
Is that what's bothering you? How much it's going to cost? I can see us now haggling with doctors to find out who's going to deliver the baby for $2.98 less than somebody else.
You are acting like a ninny. You've already lined up the best obstetrician in town. And speaking of him, what does he think of this idea of yours of going on a vacation? Does he think it's all right?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
How far along is she?
But I'm just a ninny.
Ah, dude, her hormones are all over the place, bro. You gotta work with her a little bit. I know it's difficult, but...
I'm sorry, you're not the ninny. I'm the ninny for letting you get me so worked up.
See, now, you just did what I would do. He just did exactly what I would do, and I have done. You can ask. I'm not gonna say your name. You know who you are. I've argued with you. You've seen me argue with Jen. I've had arguments with both of you at the same time. That is definitely the way that I would have handled that in that situation, which is not a good one because you're fueling the fire. Oh man, dude, I mean, especially, alright.
Look, I understand how you feel. I'd
That's
like to break
better.
loose from the grind while we still can.
Better.
But we're gonna need every penny, and we're gonna have less because you won't be working anymore.
Fair.
You admit it. You said you'd like to break loose. You want to get away just as much as I do.
I never said I didn't. I said, do we have to go whole hog? And you jumped up on your high horse.
I beg your pardon.
See that? Now, this is the better, now we're getting to the meat of the argument here.
Said a budget is a budget, and I thought that meant the trip was just off.
Well, it's not. Not unless you insist on going to the ends of the earth.
Well, I don't insist on anything. I mean, I am willing to go anywhere I decide.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we decide.
Oh, you gave yourself away.
I did not. I said we.
This is definitely an argument in our house for sure.
I did. Well, you know what I mean. Okay. You win. But I know we've got to be reasonable about it.
Well, then for Pete's sakes, let's argue about what we can do, huh?
Meanwhile, over at the Canes,
I tell you what you can do.
You always do.
You can stop acting like a martyr every time I inject a little common sense into the discussion.
Common sense. You say no without even listening to what I have to say, and you call that common sense.
Well, what is there to listen to? You walk into the room and announce, we're going to Mexico. You expect me to just say, yes, darling?
Well, that wouldn't hurt for once. Do you have to make all of the decisions?
Oh, come on, don't be so silly. Talk facts, will you?
You want facts.
See,
What about the car? You bought what you wanted, didn't you? Oh, it's all right for me to work for cars and vacations. But I don't have any say.
Not when what you have to say is just plain stupid.
oh
Picking out
shit.
a car because it's blue.
See, that's kind of me too, though. I can be very rude, and I'll feel bad about it later.
Stupid! So stupid, I'm in charge of my own department.
I thought that'd come out. Your fine job. Well, let me tell you, I'm fed up with hearing about your fine job. You knew when you married me that it would take time for me to work up in the company. So that was all right when you were trying to hook me. Now it's new carpets, new cars.
Hold on. Now, see, again, completely different argument. They're arguing about money and a baby coming along, and this dude is not the breadwinner of the house. Let's just call it what it is. And I don't care what year it is. That's tough, I feel like, for a lot of dudes. That could be a tough thing to deal with when you're not making all the money. You feel like shit, right? At the same time, there are also guys that are out there that don't appreciate the fact that there are women who are willing to sacrifice working to take care of kids basically on their own while you have to go out and work. And yeah, you do put in extra hours, but I mean, it is, dude, I'd rather work than take care of a kid 24/7 any day of the week.
Trips, any excuse for you to keep on working. Because that's what you really want.
So what's wrong with
How
that?
would you know what I really want? At least what I earn gives us some of the nicer things in life.
The nicer things. Well, what are they? More furniture? A new carpet? Have you ever heard of a family? Of children? Or aren't they nice enough?
Well, that's a new one. Especially since it was your idea to wait until you got established until we had a family.
My idea? That's a laugh. My idea was to wait until you grew up a little. A fine mother you'd make. Even your own mother admits you're spoiled.
Leave her out of this.
Why should I?
Hold on, dude. If that's really the way that you feel about it, don't be having a child with this woman. It's not. It shouldn't happen.
Pay for her rent and her groceries, don't I? Oh, maybe I shouldn't mention that. Maybe that's one of the nicer things in life that I haven't got sense enough to appreciate. Oh, brother. Tears. That just solves everything.
With both the Canes and the Adamses, it's clear that there is much more involved here than the disagreement over money with which the quarrels began. This
Clearly.
is usually true of most marital conflicts. It's also apparent that the heat of a quarrel has nothing to do with whether it solves anything. The hot-headed Adamses bear this out.
Oh, no. Can't do it. Might be bad for you and the baby. How about here?
Oh, no. That's too close to Aunt Helen. You know, if she ever heard we went through and didn't stop. Besides, getting trapped at a relative's is the last thing. Oh, see, there's the lake the Smiths raved about. What do you think about that?
Say, now,
If you
that's a-
decided that the Adams conflict, for all its heat, was the one which moved through constructive channels, you were right. Their clash cleared the air for a reasonable discussion. But the
It did,
discord
which was
between the-
honestly, it was surprising because I would have thought that hands would have been exchanged, whereas the more calmer couple seems to be the more venomous one, which honestly, if you're in a relationship and you don't fight at all, something's wrong. At the same time, you don't want to go into the toxic levels that, I have gone to. Like, we get brutal. When we fight, it's rough, dude. Horrible.
The Canes, although not so loud, didn't get anywhere and left both of them feeling worse than ever. What makes a quarrel destructive? Let's back up and note some of the damaging elements of the Canes' quarrel.
Bringing up family.
The most damaging element in any
Money.
conflict is not knowing the real issue. Are the Canes quarreling about money? Or a vacation? Or the car they bought last summer? Or the family they don't have? Nobody knows, least of all the Canes. Whatever the real issue is, it is repeatedly sidetracked.
Well, that wouldn't hurt for once. Do you have to make all of the decisions?
The Canes not only allow themselves to get sidetracked into dead issues, they also get sidetracked into personalities.
Well, not when what you have to say is just plain stupid. Picking out a car because it's blue.
From attacking personalities, it's only a short step to hitting below the belt.
Stupid! So stupid, I'm in charge of my own department.
And once the hitting gets below the belt, outright hostility, the urge to hurt the other person as badly as you've been hurt, comes to the fore.
My idea was to wait until you grew up a little. A fine mother you'd make. Even your own mother admits you're spoiled.
Leave her out of this.
Why should I? I pay for her rent and her groceries, don't I?
Nowhere in the Canes'
Yeah, but then
argument was there-
wait. Then why would you? I just realized that you're using her as a way to back up your argument and then insult her and put her down at the same time.
any attempt to understand the other person's viewpoint or to find the real issue. The tension exploded the only way it could for the Canes, in tears and resentment. Over at the Adamses, tension worked itself out to the point where they could laugh at themselves. Why? What did they do to handle the conflict?
They put it all
Let's
out
go
in the
back
open.
and note the things which helped. First of all, after some preliminary sparring, the Adamses zeroed in on the issue. Should we or should we not take a vacation? It took some effort, but they stuck to the issue as closely as they could while under emotional stress.
Now that makes sense. Now look, you know my suit has nothing to do with this, so let's just forget.
Okay. But you can't say a real vacation doesn't make sense.
And that's how you know it's an instructional video, because in real life, there's no way that a woman would ever let a point go that easily. Never happened. And that's not sexist, that's a fact, dude. It's just what it is.
Not when
A
we
dead issue which could have sidetracked them was disposed of by mutual consent, and an effort was made on both sides to try to understand the other person's viewpoint.
Is that what's bothering you, the fact that we're going to be tied down?
To make sure that what the other was saying was understood.
Is what's bothering you? How much it's going to cost? I can see us now haggling with doctors.
Sometimes the Adamses lapsed off into personalities, even name-calling, but they never resorted to red flag words such as stupid and spoiled, the way the Canes did.
Red flag words. That's my entire life. This podcast should be renamed Red Flag Words. It's all I use.
You are acting like a ninny.
And when Adams realized he had fallen into the common practice of name...
Hold on, sir. Excuse me for a moment. Ninny. Let's look that up. I probably spelled it wrong. There's a T in there? No, ninny. There it is. No definitions are found. Oh, whatever. I can't spell.
Name calling.
I don't know, I didn't ask, but I'm just a ninny.
You're not the ninny. I'm the ninny for letting you get me so worked up.
Without a break in the argument, the statement was retracted. An apology was offered. There was no necessity then for retaliation, for...
And the other one, he clearly just fueled the fire by saying that. And as somebody that argues that way, I mean,
hitting below the belt, for hurting someone because you've been hurt yourself. Hostility was kept in check, so that when the tension exploded, it could explode harmlessly with both of them laughing at themselves.
And I thought that meant the trip was off.
Well, it's not. Not unless you insist on going to the ends of the earth.
I don't insist on going anywhere. I mean, I'll go anywhere that I decide.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we decide to go.
Oh, you gave yourself away.
I did not.
Even though the Adamses may be childish enough to slam things and yell, they still show a mature willingness to compromise. Mrs. Adams, who started out wanting a trip to Acapulco, was willing to settle for less. And Mr. Adams, who apparently wanted to take no trip at all in the beginning, was willing to consider some kind of vacation after all. The Adamses established a basis for discussion, which is the ideal way of handling conflicts. Neither individual won, just as neither lost the argument. Still, the couple won through compromise. But over at the Canes, a great deal seems to be lost. Energy, time, self-respect, understanding. If you are to avoid such unhappiness in your life, it's important to understand why the Canes quarrel was so damaging. Quarrels of the Cane type damage a relationship because the real issue is never established. They do not stick to the point. They do not understand each other.
and it's money will tear any relationship apart. I don't care how good it is. Money will ruin a relationship faster than another man or another woman. Deadass.
They hurt each other. They will not compromise. The Adamses have reached a point where they can kiss and make up with no great harm done because the real issue was established. They stuck to the point. They understood each other. They did not hurt each other. They were willing to compromise. When you marry, you will have conflicts with your marriage partner. With two individuals, 2 points of view, it would be impossible not to disagree sometimes, and unrealistic not to learn how to handle marital conflicts. Learning the techniques now is better than learning them later, the hard way. How many of the suggestions for minimizing the damages of family quarrels can you remember? Are there any other suggestions you can add for handling marital conflicts constructively?
the successful adjustment and happiness of an adolescent is closely correlated with his social acceptability or her. To being socially acceptable, the adolescent needs guidance in social skills and opportunities to put these skills into practice. To prove such guidance and opportunity is the responsibility of adults or of yourself when you learn how to act by seeing people act the way that they shouldn't and piece it together that way.
You have to what?
They're between 14 and 16 years old. Social life is a dominant interest. Every school class has several groups or cliques. They're between 14 and 16 years old. Social life is a dominant interest. Every school class has several groups or cliques.
Cliques?
This boy's name is Rod Hunter, an unusually popular adolescent. He's a three-letter athlete, he's intelligent, and comes from a family with good income and high social prestige.
What's that like?
Rod is the leader of the clique, which dominates the social life of the school. Here's Ben, a boy whose background could be described as lower class. But his exceptional talent, his intelligence, his determination, and his social know-how have all brought him almost total acceptance among the clique.
Well,
Psychologists call him a climber. Then there's the middle case, Susie Summers. She belongs to the clique and has lots of friends. She doesn't enjoy quite the same popularity as Rod, perhaps because she is close rivals with her elder sister and lacks a sense of security. And the exception to the general rule, the voluntary isolate, Peter McGibbon. The boy who doesn't really want to get into the clique and is happy following his own pursuits.
Sitting by yourself at the lunch table with one or two other cats while everybody else makes fun of you and all that. That's me. But you know what? I'm cool with that. I'd rather be on my own and not have to deal with trying to be up and I mean, don't get me wrong. It never felt great to know that you're at the bottom of the totem pole, like get your clothes made fun of and all that nonsense. But I was lucky enough to be like, you know what? That's fine. I'll figure it out on my own. If y'all don't want to accept me, that's cool. I don't want to be accepted by you. There's other people like me. I just have to, I'll come across them eventually. Or maybe I won't.
Marion Ellsworth. She seems to qualify for acceptance by the clique, though somehow she hasn't quite made it. But let's watch these teenagers in action.
I don't know.
That's it?
Hello, Janie. Sit down here.
Oh, Susie, I can hardly wait till Saturday night. I got the cutest new dress to wear to your party. Oh, I just love it. What's it like? Oh, it's blue and it's got a really...
Boy, the wheels are sure buzzing today. You think nothing ever happened around the school except what they do. We'll be hearing about that party for weeks.
Oh, you have to admit how anything does happen except the things they run.
I'll be glad to get out of this school where one bunch runs everything.
What party are you talking about?
Don't tell me you haven't heard. Susie Summers is giving a party Saturday night for the social set of our class.
I thought you'd be asked, Marion. We used to know Susie real well, and you lived in the same street and everything.
We used to get together when we were in junior high, but I haven't seen her much lately.
Well, she'll probably ask you. I heard her asking Ben.
Maybe she won't ask Marion.
I know it is, like, dude, I had a friend that, it's not even worth getting into. Let's just put it like this, where, I mean, it was cool that we hung out as long as nobody knew, basically, that he hung with me, which is weird. Everybody knew. I mean, you would think, and I hate to put it like this, it's the only way I could think of. I mean, you would think that it was like on some gay shit, but it wasn't even. It was like, well, like, I'm popular, you're not popular. So, when other people come around, I mean, I can't be seen associating with somebody on your level, But every time I would bring up the fact that, like, dude, we're from two different worlds. Like, you can circulate in areas that I can. We're like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. That's totally what it is. And I know that you're trying to spare feelings, dude, but don't do all that. I get it. There's a hierarchy, which is fine. But I mean, we don't talk anymore. But that's just what it is. Eventually, it's going to work itself out.
I heard she was giving all the invitations out today. She must have asked just about everybody already.
Well, it's for sure that you and I won't be asked. Hey, Clara, listen, let's get some kids together Saturday night and, go to a movie.
Gee, I wonder if Susie will ask me.
You haven't heard it? You mean to tell me that you haven't heard it?
No, I haven't heard it. Here, play it. It's really terrific, Susie. When do you hear it?
Excuse me, ladies. I have a special request.
Which is?
Kids in that gang sure have a lot of fun. If Susie asked me to her party, maybe I could get into more of their doings.
That's what you think?
I bet she will ask me. After all, we used to be good friends. I wonder who she's asked. If she's asked Ben, she's sure to ask me. Her parents don't even know his parents. And he lives in that slummy part of town. Rod'll go for sure. He's terrific. I wish I knew how to be friendly, like Susie. I wish I wasn't so shy. I never know what to talk about.
Nobody does, Kat.
I gotta get home.
Yikes.
Nobody does. Dude, I am a nightmare in social situations. Yet somehow I can do this with no problem. Like, I'm more open doing this just because I could be myself and not have to worry about. I mean, it depends on who I'm around, because me and Doug and Jen have gone out places where I've made a complete fool of myself just to make them laugh, but that's different. Like, I know them, so it's a different thing versus being around other people. I mean, I guess it just depends on your comfort level.
Are you coming, Marion?
I think I'll stay and finish my Coke.
Sure.
Bye, Marion.
Bye.
I tried Coke once, but the ice cubes got stuck up my nose.
Hey, give me another dime, quick.
Oh, here, I've got one.
Marion, I didn't know you cared. Here, you sure you can afford a whole dime?
Oh, Jesus. I thought he was about to take a sip out of his drink.
Oh, what kind of dopey music's that?
I'm sorry,
Nobody listens to that crummy band anymore.
Ben, you coming? Yeah, I'm with you, man. Oh, would you care to minuet?
Oh, there's definitely some stuff I could get
Hi,
out of
Marion. Hi, Susie. I guess I goofed.
Oh, don't mind them. Say, Marion, I want to ask you something.
Some of the kids are coming over Saturday night.
Sue, if you want to ride home, you better hurry up. Dad's waiting for us outside.
Oh, gee, wait for me. I'll be right there.
this. You could have got the
Oh,
question out.
Marion, I'll call you tonight. Hi, Mother.
You're late today.
I was having a Coke with some of the gang.
The vegetables are done, dear. Would you mash them for me? Eric, I think it's time Danny went home. His mother will be wondering where he is.
What time is it, Mrs. Ellsworth?
It's time to go home, Danny.
Word, I'm glad that hasn't changed. The parental sarcasm is still a thing. What time is it? Time for you to go home. I just told you you need to leave. Don't be asking me what time it is as if that's gonna make a difference. My word is boss around here, Cat. So if I tell you you gotta roll, you better roll.
Mother, I was wondering whether I could have some of the gang over some night for a little while.
Marion, a bunch of teenagers with one of those noisy record players. They'll want something to eat. Really, Marion, it's all I can do to keep the house clean and the family fed without parties for teenagers.
A lot of the kids have parties, and their parents don't mind. Susie Summers is having a party this Saturday night, and she said she'd ask me. But if I don't have them over here once in a while, well, they'll think it funny, and they won't ask me to their parties.
Marion, it takes a big house and a lot of money to hold a party for a lot of teenagers.
It wouldn't have to be very many.
Or in general.
No, I'm afraid not, Marion. It's too much work and worry and money.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, son. Hello, dear. Hi, Marion. What's too much work and worry and money?
Oh, Marion has some idea about having a bunch of teenagers over some night. And I told her after a long day I haven't the strength to cope with all the food and everything.
It wouldn't be any trouble for you, Mother. I could make sandwiches.
And besides, it costs money to feed all those young people.
True.
You don't seem to mind when Eric brings home all his friends. You feed them and you don't mind the work then.
Boys are a lot easier to cope with than girls. Some of those girls in your class come from real fancy homes. And you can bet they'd notice everything here and go right home and tell their families. Well, I'm not having those girls in here unless I can do things properly.
See, now we're getting into the murky waters here, as Coco would say. My buddy, who was just in my live stream the other day, his mom is like that, where all she does is worry about what other people will think about her house and the whole thing. Nothing to do with anything else.
Certainly won't entertain with just a few sandwiches. I'd have to bake and go to a lot of trouble.
And no, you wouldn't. To be like, dude, this is what we're doing. Look, this is one of the best memories that I have. Is I went over to Doug's house. This is years ago, where he was like, you know what, we'll hang out, we'll drink a little bit, whatever, just hang. And sorry, I thought that was my phone. His mom was cool enough to be like, yeah, have your friends over, like, I don't care, as long as you guys handle yourselves and don't act like savages, basically. So, hung out, drank, whatever, and then after everything was done, cleaned up after ourselves, made it like we were not ever there in the first place. And when it was all finished, she was like, dude, I'm actually surprised, like, if this is how everything would be all the time. Like, in other words, if everybody that ever came over acted in that way, where they weren't overly demanding or just, cleaned up after their own part, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. I'm not sure if I even just made sense with the topic at hand, hopefully.
Mother, you don't understand. The kids don't expect their mothers to go to a lot of trouble. They just want cokes and stuff like that.
That was the point. Look, if I'm having you over, if I have to cook filet mignon for you to be happy coming over to my house and hanging out, I don't want you here. Plain and simple. I don't want you here. It broke my heart a little bit. Not to be dramatic, but, my boy came up from Florida a few years back, and, when he came by, he was like, y'all don't have cable, you don't have internet. Like, dude, I can't sit here. What are we supposed to do? Like, I don't know, dude, have a conversation like normal people. I haven't seen you in years. I'm sure there's a bunch of shit that we could catch up on. If I could sit and watch TV any day of the week, look, we couldn't afford it. TV was a luxury. Up until we moved into this place, we didn't have internet for years. You know, didn't have a car to drive around, and you know what I mean. Like, just we still don't. But I'm saying, dude, you gotta live within your means, and if you can't even bother to come over and hang just to hang, then I don't need you around. Simple as that. I'm not. What I look like, a ringling brother, dude? Get out of here.
Evelyn, maybe Marion's got something there. Those kids don't want you to fuss. They like informality.
Mal, you're a man. You have no idea the work that goes into the simplest party. You'd better wash up now. I'm ready to serve dinner.
Well, you
More pie,
tried.
Marion?
No, thank you, Mother. I have to watch my weight.
What nonsense. The way you girls carry on about your weight. It's a wonder you have any energy at all. Here. I don't want you getting sickly and thin.
Yeah, but I just said I didn't want it.
How are you getting along at school these days, Marion? I don't mean your schoolwork. I mean the social life.
Susie Summers is having a party this Saturday, Dad. She all but invited me this afternoon, but she said she'd telephone me tonight.
That's wonderful. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Is this what a normal family is like? Is this what conversation is like? There was none of this, dude. Like, this is foreign to me.
You going to call tonight?
That's what she said.
Oh, it's no trouble for the Summers to entertain. They've got a big house.
Can I go now, Mom?
Yes, Eric, run along.
Yeah, all right, go ahead, Bieber.
You haven't seen much of Susie lately, have you? I used to think you two were great pals.
I know.
Used to be.
I seem to have gotten out of touch with the gang somehow. Actually, I was kind of surprised when Susie mentioned her party to me. But I guess she still feels we're friends.
Of course she does.
Mother, may I be excused? I have some homework to do.
Yes, but take your dishes to the sink and save me some work.
I'll call you when the phone rings.
Thanks, Dad.
Serve me some work? Is that what she just said?
Actually, I was kind of surprised when Susie mentioned her party to me. But I guess she still feels we're friends.
Of course she does.
Mother, may I be excused? I have some homework to do.
Yes, but take your dishes to the sink and save me some work.
I think she meant save me some work, right? And first of all, if you're gonna try to be as polite as possible, finish eating your food before you open your mouth to make a statement. Come on, man. That's etiquette 101.
Ring.
Thanks, Dad.
More coffee, Mal?
Thanks. I hope to goodness Susie Summers remembers to call. You know, Evelyn, it does seem that Marion's left out of the gang more and more lately. Maybe it'd do her some good to have a little party. Nothing elaborate. Say, about 6 or so. I know we haven't much space, but a few kids around for an evening couldn't be much trouble.
Now.
Yeah, but you also gotta make sure that your daughter's not gonna get taken advantage of. Also, you don't want to be the party house.
Why are you getting so excited all of a sudden about Marion's social life? She's just a child.
She's nearly 16. She's almost a young woman. She ought to know how to talk to boys. Be at ease when she's with people. I think it'd help her out. Give her some background if she could have her friends here.
We seem to get along all right without entertaining everybody in town. Why do we suddenly have to start having all of Marion's friends in?
And that's another thing. Why don't we have some of our friends over once in a while? Seems to me that the only time we ever entertain is the family party at Christmas or when one of the relatives comes to town.
And what's got into you, Mal?
Well, I'll tell you, Evelyn. I saw little Susie Summers on the street the other day. You know, I haven't seen her for quite some time.
She's all grown up.
Believe me, she's turned into a very lovely young lady.
Oh,
well, frankly, I'd like to see our little girl looking more like that. Don't get me wrong, Marion's a wonderful kid. But she seems awfully quiet lately. I think she studies too much. I can remember kids like that back in school. And it seems to me they were always the ones who didn't seem quite to fit in with the others. I just want Marion to grow up so that she can make friends, that's all.
I suppose what you mean is you don't want her up like me.
No. No, Evelyn, that isn't what I mean at all. I know you, and I understand you, and I like you just the way you are. But, well, you know you are shy, and some people don't appreciate you until they get to know you. Life would be easier for Marion if she could make friends faster.
And who's watching this, by the way? They're playing this in schools. Why would the parents' conversation hold any weight to anything that is going on here? I mean, I guess just to illustrate the overall point.
I suppose you're right, Malcolm. To tell you the truth, I'm scared to have Marion's friends over here.
Why is that?
Those girls are so poised and well-dressed. I can remember girls like that when I went to school. They always seemed to be sneering and giggling at me. I never knew how to act or what to say or how to dress.
Evelyn, I didn't mean to upset you like this. Have some more coffee.
No thanks, Mal. I've had enough. It's different with boys. You give them a glass of milk and a piece of pie, and it's all the same to them.
Evelyn, I know how you feel.
Social structure's the same.
The most successful people weren't always the most popular kids. Remember Tom Davis back in the days at school? He was always on the fringe of things, the way you say Marion is. But he's the most popular and successful man in our class now.
Yes, I remember. But somewhere along the line, Tom learned to get along with other people or he wouldn't be the community leader he is today. I think all of us want to get along with other people. That's why I think Marion would be better off if she were in the gang.
I mean, it would... Look. It's not a terrible thing to be social and get along with other people, but at the same time, you do also need to be able to handle being by yourself. You know, to always have somebody around, you go crazy when it comes time to quarantine.
All right, Mal. Maybe I could arrange a little party for her, but I'll need your help. I think I will have some more coffee.
Well, now all we have to worry about is whether Susie Summers is going to call or not.
He laughed as if he thinks that she's not going to.
Now, where'd that extra man come from? Oh, gee, I almost forgot Marion Ellsworth. I didn't even think of her until I saw her this afternoon.
Susie, you're not going to invite her. Why, she doesn't even belong to your gang. Those queer clothes she wears.
I felt kind of sorry for her today.
If she doesn't smarten up, she's going to grow up to be just like her parents. You notice that Marion's mother and father never seem to get asked to any of the parties given by the grown-ups around here?
Well, gee, I think it's mean that we should take it all out on Marion. Well, she can't help it if her parents are kind of unfriendly. She even said her parents won't let her have kids in the house.
I still say she'll spoil the party.
Well, it's my party, and I'll ask whoever I want.
Damn right you will.
Marion and I used to be good friends in junior high.
Sure you were.
I feel as if I ought to ask her. After all, she just lives down the street.
You better make sure you haven't got too many on the list already. Mother said we only have room for 14.
Well, I haven't nearly that many. 2, 4...
Oh, I guess I
Wow, 17 already.
You'll have to take off 4, that's all. And you won't be able to invite Marion Ellsworth, that's for sure.
Well, I'm going down and ask Mother if we can't have a few more than 14.
Why don't you just do the right thing and have one of your old friends over just to try to, you know, like, come on, man.
Mother?
What is it, Marion?
Was that the phone?
No,
Nope.
dear, I'll call you.
Isn't it funny how you hear it ring when you're waiting for somebody to call even though it doesn't? I've had that happen. Yeah, I don't think you're going, dude.
If we play on Sunday, why don't we go over to the park? There's lots more room over there.
Hey, Dopey, I'm expecting a phone call. It's time you were in bed anyway.
Ah, keep your shirt on. That was just my sister.
Not like you don't know where you live, dude. She can always knock on your door. Besides, I think if she was gonna call, she would have called already. Why go out of your way to force yourself to be around people that don't want you around in the first place?
It's for you, Malcolm.
I get it, though. I've been there. Yeah, dude, it's a wrap.
Marion? Marion?
Yes, Mother?
It's time to go to bed.
Yes, Mother.
Don't worry.
The party that Marion wants to go to so desperately is not important in itself, but it is important as a symbol. Marion was rejected today, and the experience could influence her personality and development. If she felt accepted, and therefore assured, like Rod Hunter, the whole pattern of her life would be different. If she didn't care about social life, like Peter McGibbon, she wouldn't judge her own worth by an invitation to a party. If she had an attractive personality, like Ben and her family's help, she could be a successful social climber, maybe even get into the clique. The degree of social acceptance that each teenager experiences leaves its mark on his personality pattern. Lack of social acceptance can leave emotional scars. And that's why for Marion, today's rejection is important. Time and experience will be on her side. She can do much herself. But is it not a job for parents too? What can they do?
So I don't understand. Who watches it? Are the parents watching it or are the kids watching it?